The price that the young man shouted was also extremely subtle. He only added 10,000 Saint Crystal to the 10 million Saint Crystal. It seemed that he didn't want to break the rules of the Treasure Assembly Pavilion auction. Not only many cultivators are suspicious of his identity, even Ren Tianrui, who has been as steady as a mountain, frowned slightly, looked at him suspiciously, and secretly guessed where this person came from, and he had such a huge net worth. Under the eyes of everyone, the young cultivator had a calm expression and didn't feel any pressure or tension at all, which made people look at him with admiration. Lu Yi. In the wing room B13, Yang Kai narrowed his eyes, staring at the young man bidding in the hall, with an expression of disbelief in his eyes. What shocked Yang Kai was not that this person would come to participate in the auction. Although Flowing Cloud Valley is not a big power, it is also his sect. As the young master of Flowing Cloud Valley, Lu Yi is naturally eligible to enter the Treasure Assembly Pavilion. But he was not so lucky to have a separate wing room, so he could only squeeze in the hall. Yang Kai was shocked. It was because of his arm. Looking at it at this moment, Lu Yi's two arms were intact, without any missing. How can that be? Yang Kai exclaimed in his heart. He clearly remembered that when he was fighting for the red candlestick with this Lu Yi in the Flowing Flame Sand Field, he did cut off his arm. In the end, although the opponent fled, the scene at that time was still clear in Yang Kai's head, and he will never remember it wrong. But now, his broken arm has grown back again for unknown reasons. Judging from the color of that hand, it is not a prosthesis or other things, it is definitely a real fleshy arm. How did he do that? Yang Kai was stunned on this spot, severed and regrow. This kind of thing only exists in the legend, not to mention that Lu Yi is a mere Saint King Realm cultivator, which even the Void Return Realm can't do. Yang Kai suddenly realized that he somewhat underestimated the weirdness of Lu Yi. Judging from the fact that he can regenerate his broken arm, this person is a person with a lot of secrets. This person. Just when Yang Kai was puzzled, Yang Yan suddenly frowned and pointed at Lu Yi below, with a thoughtful look in her beautiful eyes. What? Yang Kai turned to look at her. I don't know why, I think he is very annoying. Yang Yan slowly shook her head. Her face was full of suspiciousness, but I only saw him for the first time. You just called him Lu Yi, do you have any grudges with him? Yes. But I don't know why, this person wanted to kill me in the Flowing Flame Sand. Yang Kai snorted. His grudge with Lu Yi was indeed inexplicable. The opponent rushed to him for no reason. And it's the kind that won't stop until death. Yang Kai asked himself. Before going to Flowing Flame Sand Field, he had never dealt with this Lu Yi. Even in Flowing Flame Sand Field, it was the first time they met. Well, be careful of this person, he seems to be very dangerous. Yang Yan reminded. I understand. Even if Yang Yan didn't say it, Yang Kai already knew it. However, where did Lu Yi get so many Saint Crystals to participate in the bidding for this storage spirit bead? According to his understanding, Flowing Cloud Valley can only be regarded as the last sect. The power is barely comparable to some small families, and the sect master only has the cultivation level of First Order Void Return stage. And the disciples under the sect are only 300 to 400 people. The land they occupy is not too rich, and there is no Saint Crystal mine. He can pay for these 10 million Saint Crystals? Brother Cheng also said that he wants the beauty of sincerity. Since this little friend wants this storage spirit bead, then this Mo give up. When Yang Kai was suspicious, Mo Xiaosheng's hearty laugh came from the side room of the Battle Sky Union. Immediately afterwards, Chang Pingshuan's loud voice sounded, old ghost Mo wants to say so nicely, but since you have given up, then this Chang don't want it. It seemed that he too abandoning the storage spirit bead, but the many cultivator present were very mindful and exquisite, and naturally they knew that these two old guys were borrowing the donkey from the slope to get rid of the hot potato storage spirit bead. It can be said that the price of 10,010,000 Saint Crystal is just right. Not only does it sell to old guys for a small favor, but it also sells storage spirit bead with high price. It really is like killing two birds with one stone. Thinking of this, many people secretly regretted it. If they knew it, they would have paid the same price. Although it was more than 10 million Saint Crystal, if they can take this opportunity to make friends with the elders of the two major forces, they will pay for it. For a while, they were very upset. But even if they understand this, if they are asked to make another choice, they may not have the courage to bid on that knot. If the flattering hits the horse's hoof, wouldn't it be boring to find it? This young man is decisive enough that many people admire him. Ren Tianrui stood on the high platform and shouted the price 3 times, and no one increased the price. Lu Yi bought the storage spirit bead for 10,010,000 Saint Crystals. At the moment, someone led Lu Yi into the back hall of the auction to hand over the Saint Crystal and storage spirit bead. The auction continued. With the warm-up of the first auction item, the atmosphere in the auction venue was obviously much higher. The auction held by Treasure Assembly Pavilion this time was indeed very good. Every appearance caused a lot of cultivators to snatch it wildly, and the price was also low. Ascending steadily, Ren Tianrui has been standing on the high platform, folding fans in his hands or swaying or squeezing them together, as gentle and elegant as ever, but he, known as the Little Black Face, has already quietly sold every auction item. The price is higher than its own value, but the cultivators who participated in the bidding did not know it. The clever methods made people have to admire them. The items sold in this auction are of great use to cultivators, including secret treasure pills, secret techniques of cultural techniques, spiritual grass ore, and various other types. Yang Kai hasn't taken any action, just sitting in the wing room B13, listening to Yang Yan discussing the auction items, while enjoying the young girl Jinger's kneading and massage, extremely pleasant. Although the items were good, he has no use for them, and with the premise which Dragon Cave Mountain now cooperates with Shadow Moon Hall, it is not too difficult to get these things. Generally speaking, the first half of the auction was unremarkable, and most of the auction items were things that could be bought with Saint Crystal. Most of the bids comes from the cultivators in the hall, and the strong men in the wing room rarely participate. They won't bid unless they really see some of the best auction items. In the second half, the strong men in the big wing rooms finally made their moves. Those auction items were not something the cultivators in the hall can participate in the competition. What's surprising is that the young man who won the first auction item in the subsequent auctions showed his huge financial resources. In the unbelievable eyes of everyone, several things were sold in succession. The number of Saint Crystals already exceeds 40 million. Lu Yi's actions naturally made Yang Kai shocked again and again, but soon, a sarcastic smile appeared on the corner of Yang Kai's mouth. Without a strong sect as the backing, Lu Yi frequently reveals his wealth. This is the rhythm of finding trouble. Sitting in the wing, Yang Kai already feels the divine consciousness of many powerful people constantly sweeping towards Lu Yi. It seems that after the auction is over, someone will definitely come to him for a good chat. This is something that Yang Kai likes to see. No matter why Lu Yi wants to target himself, since he is attacking himself, then he is his enemy. Now that Lu Yi is asking for trouble, Yang Kai is naturally willing to watch from the sidelines, and he even hopes that it would be good if he died earlier. And Lu Yi was also an outstanding person. Facing the unkind gaze of many people, he was still calm and collected, sitting in the hall, with no intention of leaving the field early, as if he would continue to participate in the auction. As the auction items are sold, the auction is gradually coming to an end. Yang Kai couldn't help but secretly became anxious. He kept waiting for the item he needed to appear, but he hadn't traced it until this moment. He was naturally anxious, lest Treasure Assembly Pavilion temporarily changed their mind and withdrew the item from the auction list, but then he thought about it, since Treasure Assembly Pavilion printed its design on the invitation and sent it out widely, it didn't make sense to do so. If it was really going to happen, the credibility of the Treasure Assembly Pavilion would be destroyed. While thinking about it, on the high platform underneath, another woman in a palace costume came up with a jade plate in her hand. Although the auction item was covered by red cloth, when Xianxia's consciousness swept past, he looked happy. Hurriedly sit tightly, gearing up. What he was waiting for finally appeared. At the same time, there were a lot of spiritual minds from the big wing rooms. Soon, the cultivators in the hall also whispered to each other. For no other reason, the auction items that appeared this time seemed a bit unusual. When the jade plate appeared, everyone felt an invisible vigor emanating from there, cutting their skin like a sharp blade. What the hell is so amazing? Everyone couldn't help but wait and see curiously, secretly looking forward to it. Ren Tianrui was very satisfied with everyone's reaction. He slid the folding fan away and inserted it into the collar of his head. He laughed and said, although the next thing to be auctioned is rare in 10,000 years, it is also very hard to find. This treasure, what exactly is it? Th's Ren will say it first. This Ren can only say that this is a piece of material, which is of great use to seniors who have practiced some special skills. Stop talking slowly, let the old man see what it is. An old and majestic voice came from a private room in Block A. The voice was faintly anxious and seemed to care about the auction item. Yang Kai frowned when he heard it, and secretly felt that it might not be that simple to win this auction item. Haha, are you the Jinshi senior of the Demon Blood Temple? Seniors, don't worry, this junior will let you see it clearly. Ren Tianrui said the identity of the speaker, and then stretched out his hand to uncover the red cloth. In an instant, a group of dazzling golden light bloomed, extremely dazzling. Everyone on the scene, the cultivators with lower strength all felt a pain in their eyes, and they closed their eyes involuntarily, and those with higher strength had to turn the Saint Yuan into their eyes. Only then can they see clearly what is in the golden light. Yang Kai also squinted his eyes. After seeing the golden light clearly, his heart jumped wildly, extremely excited. To be continued.